Hello everyone, and welcome to my UBA Season 2 not power rankings, it's another video, playoff scenarios video as of week 9. Immediately before recording this, I recorded the power rankings, which was like about 15 minutes. Then I recorded this video, which was about 45 minutes of me talking about playoff scenarios. And then I realized that I didn't change the recording selection after my power rankings video, so I was just recording like a quarter of the screen that I usually use to record my spreadsheet. So not only am I fairly annoyed that I lost that, but I also have been talking for like an hour straight, and it's also 1:19 a.m., so not a great time to be recording, but whatever. But yeah, these are going to be the playoff scenarios. So let's get right into it. Some notes: whenever I say diff, I mean differential. Also, I forgot to mention, we've moved on to PowerPoint, so we've got some increased production value, as opposed to just scrolling through a Google Sheet. So I guess it's kind of cool. But there was no way I was fitting all this information on anything other than like a PowerPoint. But yeah, when I say diff, I mean differential. I can't type. I'm not going to say or type differential like 50 times, which I wrote diff like 50 times on this sheet, or not sheet, PowerPoint. So yeah, a lot of differential I say. So whenever I say diff, I mean differential. It's going to be annoying to say that over and over again. All differential numbers I mention are relative to where they are now, not final numbers. So if I say Class CL achieves +5 differential, I mean for that condition to apply, Class CL currently has 2 differential right now, is his current differential. He must gain 5 differential in his final 2 weeks to achieve a final differential of +7. So whenever I say someone needs a certain amount of differential, it's always how much differential they get in the final 2 weeks to have a relative differential to where they are now. So someone with 0 differential, if I say, actually that's a bad example, someone with 2 differential like Class CL has right now, like this example, if I say they need +5 differential, that means they need to get to 7 differential by getting +5 in the final 2 weeks. Also, whenever I say a minimum that is required, that means how much is necessary for it to make the case possible. So usually that means if a person gets 6 O's straight through, then this is what is required for that to even have a possibility, given that the person has a perfect season from here on out. Now, these are basically the limits, but if it's anything below the limit, then it starts to become easier. But when I state a limit, that means what it is for it to be even possible, given that they have a perfect season. So yeah, I'm just stating the possibilities. So currently eliminated from playoff contention is Kudo, Pokemon Master Adam / Enzo, and Flare 13. Flare 13 actually had a very small outside chance to make it up until today, but then he lost to PETA, so now he has no chance. So first up I have Jolty, who has the furthest outside chance. For him to make it in, he needs to win the final 2 games. If he loses either of his final 2 games, he cannot make playoffs. So it's first important to know that there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 contenders left at this point. There's a top 2, a bottom 3, and a middle 4. The middle 4 all have 2 more wins than the bottom 3. So for the bottom 3 to make it and play spoiler and replace any of the middle 4, they need to get 2 wins, and someone in the middle 4 needs to fail to get 2 wins. So right here, if Class CL wins both of his games, Jolty cannot catch him. His differential is not good enough if Class CL wins both of his games. So if Class CL wins both of his games, then Jolty is forced. Jolty is forced to replace a secondary person. So for Jolty to make the playoffs, if Class CL wins both of his games, both Class CL and Jolty must replace someone from the playoffs. or from that middle four, which is possible but unlikely. But in the case that Classiel does win both, for Jolty to have a chance, 2 people have to get replaced because there's no way for him to pass Classiel in that case. And those cases are, the case for that to happen is between Hazy and D. Winchell, one must lose out. If they lose out, then Jolty can catch him on differential and tie them with record if he wins out. And PETA is the only other option because since Hazy and D. Winchell play each other, neither of them or both of them can't lose out, so one of them has to lose out. And then PETA also has to lose out because it's impossible for Jolty to catch Tepig on differential. So PETA needs to lose. So for assuming Jolty gets 2 6-0s, the minimum that Hazy and D. Winchell need to lose by, since they share differential right now, is to lose out with -6 differential. So if they lose out with, say, 2 3-0s, then it's possible for Jolty to catch them. If PETA wins, and if Classiel does win both of his, then it's going to be put in a scenario where both of these scenarios have to happen, where they both one of Hazy and D. Winchell and PETA both get replaced. So PETA needs to lose with a differential of -10 for Jolty to catch him, and Classiel and Hazy and D. Winchell also must lose by -6 for Jolty to have a chance of catching them on differential. And then for this to happen, Jeff must also either lose a game or not win, or win out with less than 8 differential. If Jeff gets more than 8 differential, then it's impossible for Jolty to catch him on differential with 2 6-0s. So if Classiel loses a game and Jeff wins out with 9 differential, then it's impossible for Jolty to catch him. So it's the same scenario pretty much as before with Classiel, except with Jeff in the scenario of Classiel. So it's possible for both Jeff and Classiel to make it, but they need to replace 2 people. So in the case that Jolty can't catch Jeff on differential, +9 guarantees that Jolty can't catch him. Otherwise, Jeff can catch him, or Jolty can catch him. Then they need to replace 2 people. And it's the same conditions as before. So if Classiel loses a game, and Jeff loses a game as well, or fails to reach the +9 differential and Jolty out differentials him, then only one of them needs to get replaced. So it's the same scenario where PETA, or he needs to catch Hazy, D. Winchell, or PETA. That's a typo right there. I went through and fixed almost all of them after my first take of it because I spotted all the typos, but I guess I forgot to fix that one. It's -6 for both D. Winchell and Hazy. D. Winchell does not need -5, he needs -6 differential minimum for Jolty to have a chance to catch him. Or PETA can fall to -10 differential in his final 2 games, and Jolty has a chance to catch him. But any given one of those things can happen if Jolty finishes ahead of Jeff and Classiel. So it's not both of them are required to happen. But yeah, he's required to make up the 4 differential points between him and Jeff if Jeff does win out. So next up is Jeff. Jeff also must win his final 2 games to have a chance. If he doesn't win his final 2 games, he's out. So if Classiel wins both games with +5 differential, then Jeff can't catch him. So it becomes the same situation as before, where they need to replace 2 of that middle 4. If Classiel gets a +5 differential, then Jeff is in that scenario where he's forced to replace 2 of the top 4. However, Jeff has the possibility of catching Tepig, unlike Jolty. So there's 3 possibilities, and only 2 of them need to happen. So the same situation with Hazy and D. Winchell, except they don't need to lose as much. Actually, there's no required amount for Hazy and D. Winchell to lose by, because if they lose, they're guaranteed in range of 2 6-0s from Jeff. So there's no minimum amount Hazy and D. Winchell need to lose by. PETA needs to lose by a minimum of 6 differential, so it'd be like 2 3-0s. And then Jeff, they'd be in range of Jeff getting 2 6-0s. And for Tepig, Tepig needs to lose 3 differential in his final 2 games. So yeah, he's playing Pokemon Master Adam, and it's a guaranteed win. But he can still lose differential by not winning against Pokemon Master Adam very hard, and Class CL beating him quite hard. And if he gets a minimum differential of 3-0, then he's in range of 2-6-0s from Jeff. Also, in this case, if Class CL does get that to occur, then Jeff must also not get passed by Jolty, and for that to happen, Jolty needs to either get +9 differential, which guarantees Jolty doesn't catch him. He needs to get Jolty to lose a game, or Jolty needs to not make up the 4 differential between them. So if Class CL loses a game or fails to reach the +9 or +5 differential, with 2 wins, then Jeff can theoretically catch him. So if he out differentials Class CL, which is the middle case, and Jolty fails to make up the differential between them. So this is the case where he's ahead of both Class CL and Jolty because they both fail to either win out or get differential on him. Then he's in a scenario where he's free to replace any of the top 4 as opposed to 2, which he had to if Class CL gets ahead of him, or if Jolty gets ahead of him. So it's the same conditions as before. He can always catch D-Winchell or Hazy. Peta needs to lose with a minimum of -6 differential between his 2 games. And Tepig needs to lose a minimum of -3, or finish with a minimum of -3 in his final 2 games. And if Class CL does win out, then he has to make up the 8 differential points between them, which is possible, but unlikely. But he can still finish ahead of Class CL and not need 2 spots open, even if Class CL wins out in his final 2 games. So if the final case here is just if Jolty gets ahead of Jeff as opposed to Class CL, then he effectively goes by Jolty's requirements, because if Jolty passed him, then he's effectively at Jolty's limits or worse. So that means he has the same limits as Jolty of beating D-Winchell and Peta, or Hazy and D-Winchell. Actually, did I forget that? Okay, yeah, no, I didn't forget it. Hazy and D-Winchell must lose with a minimum of -6. Yeah, and a -10 differential from Peta, which is the same requirements as Jolty, because he's effectively the same requirements as Jolty if Jolty passes him. Jolty does win the tiebreaker over Jeff on differential, though. There's something to note. So if they have the same differential, Jolty prevails because he won the head-to-head game. Next up is Class CL, who has Reddy's face because he doesn't have a logo. So Class CL must win his final 2 games, just like the previous 2. If he achieves a minimum of +5 differential within his final 2 games, then it's impossible for Jeff to catch him or Jolty to catch him, which means he's free to pick off anyone in the top 4 on his own, and not have to squeeze in with 2 people. So if he does manage to pass Jeff, which +5 differential guarantees him, then he needs the same. Then Hazy, D-Winchell, Peta, or Tepig must lose out in their final 2 games. But he can catch any of them no matter what. They don't. Class CL has a very good differential. So if any given one of them lose, he doesn't require them to lose by any given amount, because they're always in range of him so long as they lose out. So yeah, he doesn't require them to lose by any given amount. He can always catch them. But if he fails to achieve the +5 differential and Jeff wins, then he needs to or Jeff wins out and makes up the 8 differential between them, then he effectively goes by Jeff's standards, because if Jeff catches him, he's effectively at Jeff's standards or worse, and he needs to replace 2 people. So he needs the same conditions as before, where they either replace Hazy or D-Winchell or Peta or Tepig, and they're all by Jeff's standards. So any of those could happen, and it's pretty much just the same case as before that he had in Jeff, where Class CL and Jeff both make it, but it's on Class CL's page, because that's also a possibility for him. Next up is Hazy. And for him to make playoffs, he needs to win one game. If he wins one game, he is in playoffs guaranteed. If he loses both of his games, then he still has a chance, but he needs Classy L to lose one of his games, and both Jeff and Joel T to lose one of their games, or fail to make up the diff. Actually, it's possible if he loses both of his games 1-0 and Classy wins both of his games only 1-0, that Classy does not overtake him by one differential point. But under any other circumstance, Classy L will catch him and overtake him. So I guess that's a bit of a typo, but like the odds of that are very small. But yeah, he either needs to win one game, or if he loses both, he doesn't lose hope, but he needs Classy L and Jeff and Joel T all to either not win out or make the differential between them. He can not make the top two though if he loses both games, but if he wins both games, he has a fairly good shot at top two. He needs Reggie to lose out and have -2 differential from his 2 losses. Or he needs Reggie to lose out or have -2 differential from his losses. That means Reggie can go 1-1, but have an overall record of -2. So Reggie can say go win one game 1-0 and lose one game 3-0, and Hazy can theoretically catch him on 2 6-0s. Same thing goes for me. I need to lose out or have -4 for my 2, go 1-1 -4, which is like a 5-0 and a 5-0 win, or a 5-0 loss and a 1-0 win, or a 6-0 loss and a 2-0 win, which are really actually the only 2 scenarios. Those also go, if they lose out, they need to lose out. I need to lose out by 4-0. Actually, no, that's not right, actually, because that would pass me on wins. Never mind that. So yeah, I need to lose out or have -4 differential, which with a 1-1, which is quite unlikely, because -5 is the worst you could have if you go 1-1, but it's possible. But he also needs PETA to lose one of his games or fail to gain +8 differential from his final 2 games. Now it's possible to get +8 differential without going 2-0, but if he goes +8, then he puts himself out of range of being caught by 2 6-0s from Hazy. If he failed, which is like if he goes 4-4, or gets a 4-0, 2 4-0s, if he gets a 6-0 and a 2-0, that gets to +8 and guaranteed out of range of Hazy. But any less than +8 differential, and PETA could theoretically be caught by Hazy. And if one of me and Reggie get displaced through those conditions, and Hazy's able to pass PETA and get 2 wins, then D-Winchell's no longer a threat, because D-Winchell guaranteed had a win, because if he has 2 wins, D-Winchell lost 1 because he plays D-Winchell, and he catches PETA on differential, then he is in the top 2. He can also make top 2 with 1 win, but it requires a miracle, where Reggie must lose out with a minimum of -9, so he needs to lose, say, a -4-0, lose 1 4-0, lose 1 5-0, and then I must lose out with a minimum of -11 differential, which is basically a 5-0 and a 6-0, or a 6-0 and a 6-0. And PETA must lose both of his games, or lose one of them with diff greater than or equal to his win. So if the greatest you can achieve, right now Hazy's at 7 differential, so the greatest differential you can achieve if you lose one of your games and win one of your games is +5, because if you lose 1-0 and win 6-0, it's +5. PETA's currently at 12, and Hazy owns a tiebreaker over PETA. So if he gets the 1-0 and a 6-0, then it's theoretically possible for him to make top 5 or top 2 if either one of me or Reggie choke all the way down to 12 points of differential, or in the case of Reggie, he needs to go all the way down to 11 points of differential. And since he wants the tiebreaker over PETA, he also needs to get 12 while PETA loses 1. And if PETA loses 1 and wins 1, so long as his loss is equal to his win, he will still be at 12, which is a tie with Hazy's max. which means he will win on the tiebreaker. So that's a possibility for him to make top 2 with 1 win. He also needs D. Winchell to not end with higher diff than him. So if he beats D. Winchell, that's likely. If D. Winchell beats him, he needs to win his second game much harder than D. Winchell wins his first one. And he also needs Tepig to either lose to Class CL or fail to gain the +4 differential. That'll put him at +13 differential, which is out of range of the +12 that Hazy could possibly achieve, because Hazy does own the tiebreaker over Tepig. So he does need a lot to go his way to get top 2 with 1 win, but it is theoretically possible. Next is D. Winchell, which is pretty much the same thing as Hazy, because they're both 6 and 3 +7, except for the tiebreakers off a little bit. Since D. Winchell beat Reggie, his tiebreakers against Reggie are a bit more favorable. Since D. Winchell lost to me, his tiebreakers against me are a bit less favorable. Since D. Winchell lost to PETA, his tiebreakers are more unfavorable than Hazy's, things like that. But it's pretty much the same things, same conditions if you look through. Yeah, the only difference is that he needs Reggie to win less game. Reggie doesn't need to lose as hard by 1 game. PETA needs to lose harder by 1 game. But other than that, it's the same as Hazy's. He also owns the same tiebreaker over Tepig, so that one doesn't matter. Next up is Tepig, who has an interesting case because he has a guaranteed win at this point. So if he makes to make the playoffs, he needs to beat Class EL. If he beats Class EL, he's in playoffs. If he loses and has a higher differential than Class EL or Jeff, then he's also in, even if they win out. It's definitely possible for him to have higher differential than either one of them, but no amount will keep him safe from Class EL. If he 6-0s Pokemon Master Adam in that battle for differential, that doesn't matter win or loss. Class EL can still catch him by winning hard enough. But if he gets to -2, then Jeff cannot catch him. So if he, say, loses, if he beats Pokemon Master, say 1-0, and then loses Class EL 3-0, so long as Class EL doesn't win his other game, Jeff cannot theoretically catch him, and Jolty cannot catch him no matter what. So yeah, those are his cases for winning to making playoffs. For him to make top 2, he must beat Class EL. There's no way around it. If he doesn't beat Class EL, he's not making top 2. He needs Reggie to lose out. He doesn't need Reggie to lose out by any specific amount. No, it's theoretically possible for him to catch Reggie no matter what, so long as Reggie loses both of his games. But he needs me to lose out by -3 differential for him to have a chance of catching me. He also needs Hazy, PETA, and D. Winchell all to not win a game and lose out, or he needs them to finish with less diff than Tepig, or than he has. So long as none of them win out, pretty much. Is that how it works? Wait. 6, 7. No. He needs none of them to win out. If any of them win out, then Tepig is out of the playoffs. Or out of the top 2. If none of them win out, then it turns into a big race for differential that Tepig is actually leading, assuming none of them win out. If Tepig is able to get +8 differential, he will guaranteed win this giant differential race, assuming no one wins out of those 3 coaches. If he doesn't achieve +8, he can still win it, but it's not guaranteed. But it gets a bit murky. Next up is PETA. For him to make playoffs, he just needs to win a game, just like the previous 3. He can also make playoffs if he loses, so long as Class CL loses a game, and Jeff and Jolty also lose a game or don't make up the diff. Same thing with Class CL, though I don't know why I didn't change that, especially since I went through this once already and mentioned that in the first commentary. It's just, I did fix a lot of things from the first commentary, though, to be fair. He needs Class CL, to Jeff, and Jolty all to either lose a game or fail to make the differential between them. No amount of differential he gets will keep him safe from Class CL. If he loses both of his games, Class CL can catch him. He just needs him to fail to catch him. If he loses both of his games, so long as he loses with -5 differential or better, Jeff can guaranteed not catch him. So if he loses -3-0, or if he loses a game 3-0, loses a game 2-0, Jeff cannot catch him no matter what. So long as Class CL takes a loss, then he's fine. And if he loses a game, if he loses with -9 differential in his final 2 games, Jolty cannot catch him. So same scenario, except he needs Jeff to not win a game or not catch him, and Class CL to lose a game and not catch him. So if he gets 2 wins, then he needs Reggie to lose out or fail to get +5 differential, and he needs me to lose out or fail to get +2 differential. So those, if either of us go 2, or if actually no, we're guaranteed. One of us is guaranteed to lose. So he needs whichever one of us that loses to get +5 differential or +2, or really just either one of us, because it's possible that we both go 1-1. But he needs one of us to go 1-1 and either +4 or lower for Reggie, or +1 or me or lower for me, and then he can theoretically catch us on 2 6-0s. But he also needs DeWinchell and Hazy to either lose one of their games or fail to catch PETA. If he gets +8 differential, he is ensured that Hazy and DeWinchell cannot catch him on differential, assuming he gets +2. So for him to make it, he needs me and Reggie to lose a game and not go ridiculously positive while we do it. In the case of Reggie, he actually needs to lose 1-0 and win 6-0, which is the absolute max. Or in the case of me, to not win by not gain +2 in those 2 games. And he needs to out differential Hazy and DeWinchell. He's 5 points ahead of both, so he just needs him to not make up that 5 points. +8 points will guarantee that doesn't happen. So he can also make top 2 with 1 win, just like DeWinchell and Hazy do. But it's very hard for him. Pretty much the same conditions as the previous ones, except not as harsh in differential. Yeah, he needs Reggie to lose with -4. He needs me to lose out with. Wait, does he need us to lose out? Yeah, he does. Reggie to lose out with -4, me to lose out with -6. He needs Hazy and DeWinchell to lose out or only win 1 game and not make up the 5 differential with 1 game. If he wins and loses with the same differential, he guarantees that DeWinchell can't catch him. So if he wins 1-3-0, wins 1-3-0, loses 1-3-0, DeWinchell will never catch him. And if he wins with final +1, which would be like a win +2, or a 2-0 win, 1-0 loss, then Hazy can't catch up no matter what. I said guarantees right there. Whoops. It's supposed to be guarantees. So Tybig must also lose to Class CL or fail to make up the differential. In that case too, if he wants to make top 2 with 1 win. And no amount of differential PETA can get with 1 win guarantees that Tybig can't catch him. Finally, Reggie, who's the first of the top 2 pack. He's guaranteed playoffs no matter what. Nothing can keep him out of playoffs. If he gets 2 wins, he's in the top 2 no matter what. He can make the top 2 with 1 win if DeWinchell, Hazy, and PETA all lose a game and fail to catch him on differential. If DeWinchell, Hazy, and PETA all lose a game, they will not catch him. If they win out, they can catch him, but they need Reggie. They need to catch Reggie on differential, and Reggie's differential is very good right now, so that's quite unlikely, but it is possible. If he gets +4 differential when he loses, that guarantees him top 2 spot. So if he goes 1-1 but gets +4 differential, he will not get caught. Actually, did that contradict what I just said with Peta? I feel like I said he needs to not get +5. What is it? Yeah, I said +4 on the +5 on the previous page and +4. Well, the highest Peta can reach is 24. Reggie's at 20. And Reggie owns a tiebreaker. So the previous one was wrong. Sorry about that. If Reggie gets +4 differential, he guarantees the playoffs. If he goes 1-1 with +4 differential between those two games, then he guarantees playoffs, or guarantees the top two. My bad about that. I was wrong in the previous slide. Yeah, if he goes +4 in the last two games, he guarantees top two and not being caught by Peta. -1 guarantees Hazy can't catch him, and if he breaks even, D. Winchell can't catch him. So he can make top two with no wins, but it's going to require a lot of things to go his way. D. Winchell, Hazy, Peta must all lose one of their game or fail to, or must all lose one game or fail to make up the differential. To ensure that he doesn't get caught by to be sure that none of them catch him on differential. If they win one game, he needs -3 differential with 2 losses to stay out of range of Peta, -7 with 2 losses to stay out of range of D. Winchell, and -8 with 2 losses to stay out of range of Hazy. And if any of the 3 win out, in this case, he's out of the top 3. Tepig must also lose to Class EL or fail to make up the diff as well in a scenario for Reggie to make top 2 if he loses both of his games. So last is me. So I don't understand why any of you would watch to this point, but if you are and care about my playoff scenarios and want to hear them, I don't understand why, but I'll say them anyways, just for the sake of completions. But it's pretty much the same thing as Reggie, because I have the same record as Reggie, except with 3 more differential points. So it's pretty much the same thing, except with slightly differential. Playoffs guaranteed, 2 wins guarantees top 2. I guess the most important one is if I go 1-1 but get +2 differential between the 2 games, then I'm guaranteed top 2. And if I go 0-2, it's pretty much the same thing as Reggie, except the differentials are slightly different, so I really don't feel like doing the same thing. I guess the main difference is that I can guarantee Tepig doesn't catch me by getting -2 differential, even if I get no wins. So if I lose both my games 1-1, then Tepig can't catch me no matter what, while Reggie can get caught by Tepig no matter what if he loses both of his games. I guess that's pretty much the only difference in terms of guarantees. Other than that, it's just differential amounts. So yeah, that was the playoff scenarios as of week 9. I'll probably make a second one week 10, but that one will be much simpler because we'll have a whole game filled out. The possibilities would be really narrowed down. It might be to the point where it's not even necessary. We'll see. But regardless, I'll see you next time.